to know you a bit more. So your name, age, where you're based, and maybe like a cool fact about you that your fans might not know about.
Oh, okay. So I am St. Joshua. I'm 26 years old from Croydon. And an interesting fact about me is I can play a bit on the piano. Okay. I think that might be an interesting factor a little bit. And on the EP, I'll be playing one of the songs I play the piano on. So yeah, I think that's an interesting fact. I don't think I speak on that at all.
That is really cool. No, it's really cool to be able to play an instrument. Like, it's funny because like my surname is legit an instrument. Like it's called my surname is like banjo. So the fact that I can't even play an instrument is kind of peak. But,
you need to. I'm literally just learning the guitar this year. So my sister bought me the guitar for Christmas. So I'm learning that. It is so hard. It is not as easy as the damn piano. I cannot figure it out, but I'm trying. I've got my chords, but yeah, it's gonna be a long journey.
Yeah, the inspiration behind like your name, Saint Joshua, like I find it quite like interesting. So yeah, what was the story behind it?
So Joshua is my middle name, so it's not my first name, and I always wanted to have a stage name just as a way to feel like I could separate my personal life from the music world. So I wanted to name myself Joshua, but I felt like it was a little bit boring. So I thought, I need to spice it up a little bit. And obviously, having a Christian background, my mum named me after the Saint Joshua. So I thought, well, why not add a saint to it? And yeah, and it went off from there. I try it out on my Instagram. I changed my name on Instagram and all the social handles, and I was like, do you know what? Yeah, I think this could work. And I'd done the first release last year, and yeah, I was satisfied with it. I'm like, all right, I've got to go with it now. But I think it's all right.
Wow, no, that's really cool because it reminds me of like other artists that I like Frank Ocean and stuff, and like finding out his real name, I was like, what? Like, is that Frank Ocean's actually got your name? Like, what's going on?
Like my sister calls me Joshua or Josh, whatever, but in real life, no one calls me Josh unless they're taking the mic.
No, but that's really kind of cool story behind your name. How would you describe your like music style, and what are your like top 3 artists that have like kind of inspired your singing?
I'll describe it as chill. Well, yes, it's chill, it's relaxed, and it's quite R&B, a little bit alternative. For me, I'm heavily inspired by, Solange, D'Angelo, and Frank Ocean, like you mentioned, just people who are able to push the envelope a little bit more. And I try to combine all of their different styles, and that's who I get really inspired. But then I'm also inspired by like a lot of R&B pop music, like the likes of Usher and Destiny's Child, or even like Mario and like really big choruses. I love all that stuff. So I try to combine the best of both worlds and try to make my sound. So yeah.
No, that is really cool because all of those artists that you spoken about like are my faves as well. And I like that I'm glad you're able to kind of like fuse both of them into your music, but also have your own unique style. I
mean, for a long time I was nervous about, there's a fine line between being inspired and copying. And I always, part of like trying to build your artistry is finding out what you are, who you sound like. So not trying to mold yourself behind after somebody else, but making sure that you're making your own sound. And that's what I found difficult, but I think that I'm there.
No, that's I guess a struggle in a way for artists to you've been inspired by the people that came before you, but you also have your own like unique style and stuff. So I definitely kind of like, get you.
Always so hard. But I think for me as well, I'm such an eclectic listener. Like I listen to so many different genres, and when it came to making music of my own, I'm like, well, what music do I make? Do I make R&B? Do I make pop? Like, what do I sound like? What do I do? And I feel like the answer is there isn't an answer. You can do what you want as long as it's nice and steady. As long as you're not confusing everybody, and you're consistent, and there's some sort of thread along your music, then you should be all right. So yeah.
No, that's really cool. Kind of like initially got you into singing in the first place, and was it something that you've always wanted to pursue?
Yeah. I've always, as far as I know, I've always been singing since I was a kid. My first time I ever performed was in like primary school, or elementary school, if people are listening from America. So I was like 10, 11, and I sang Amazing Grace on stage. And since then, I've always been in music, learned the piano in school, and the saxophone. I dabbled in a bit of that. I started songwriting really young, like super young. I don't know why, again, but it was something I've always enjoyed. Yeah. And even when I was like a teenager, I had a little band.
Wow.
We used to do like pop mashups of like pop and R&B. So we would do like TLC and Drake and mash them up together like those scrubs. And yeah, so I always found music to be my safe haven. Like life wasn't easy, and I guess being in music was just the escape that I needed, and the growth, the place where I grew. So that's what got me, I guess.
Wow, like that's really inspirational in terms of like seeing music as like your safe haven, and seeing it as, I guess, something that was always spoken to you throughout like your whole life and stuff. That is really inspiring.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the pivotal moment when I thought I knew I wanted to do it as a career, I was 18. You know, as everyone knows, are you going to college? Are you going to university? What do you want to do? I realized I really wanted to do music, but then I had the fear of actually putting out my own music. That was another beast. But, you know, many years later, here I am, and I'm finally putting music out. I feel confident enough to put stuff out. So, yeah.
That's really really cool, to be honest. And like speaking of your like music career and just you as a person, what is the typical day in the life of Saint Joshua? Run me through your whole routine.
Ooh, okay, all right. In an ideal world, I'd wake up. I might have a bit of breakfast. We're talking maybe scrambled eggs, one slice of toast, you know, got to keep the carbs low.
That's it.
Drink a smoothie, do a vocal warm-up, maybe do an hour or so, work on the agility, make your way to the gym, work out, come back home, maybe get ready for a writing session, maybe do some just administrative work, like reply to some emails and speaking to my manager about whatever activities that we're doing. And then depending on the day, if it's like a live show, go to rehearsal, get that ready, and then obviously do the show. Or if it's more of just a normal music day, then it's a matter of heading to the writing session, working with the producer or the writer to make the song. But in the real world, I'd wake up late. I will have a drink of water. I'd make myself to the writing session, run back home, try and do your gym, maybe may not make it, have myself a fast food and go to bed. Literally, I'm a mess. I'm just a mess. So yeah, everything's not perfect in the world of Saint Joshua, I'll tell you that.
I like there's a balance, you know, there's a balance. There's the ideal and then there's the reality. So
exactly. So there we go.
Who would be your top three dream collaborations, and why? Like, who would you be like, I really need to work with this person?
Okay, I want to think about this. I really want to work with, do you know Deb Hines, like Blood Orange?
No.
He's really, really good. He's like, I guess people call him alternative R&B. I'm not too sure exactly what his genre is, but he's amazing. And like, just as an all-round musician, he plays all the instruments, he sings, and he's just incredible. He has an album called Negro Swan, which is one of my favorite albums ever. And he's a British artist, and he's just absolutely incredible. Deb Hines. So he's one. I would also love to work with D'Angelo. I think he's bloody incredible. He's one of my all-time favorites. I think his writing, even just how he puts a song together, whether it comes to like the vocals, the backing vocals and everything, just the vocal arrangements and everything, I think he's absolutely incredible. And I would love to just learn from him as to what he does and how his thought processes, you know, just if I could just sit there for like an hour just to listen and learn. And the last person would be Andre 3000. He is incredible, and I don't think he gets the props that he deserves, not just as a rapper, but as a musician. He's just iconic. So Andre 3000.
I love it. Like, I love the three people. Like, they seem like there will be a great collaboration, and also that people that you can actually learn from as well.
That would be incredible. Definitely.
It's amazing. And what would you say has been like your proudest moment so far in like your music career? And what did you do to like celebrate, if you did celebrate?
There's been a few. I would probably say the proudest moment that springs to mind first is when I released my first single as St. Joshua. The song was called I Like. It released last year.
Oh no, yeah. I like the way we feel our chemistry.
In March, it was the day before my 26th birthday, and I just remember I was in my room, and when it was announced, and I just saw it on Spotify and Apple Music, and it was out to the world, and I stood there and I was like, wow, I've done it. I don't remember celebrating. I try not to go all out. Like, I don't like partying or anything. I like to stay at home. I prefer staying at home, to be honest. But, you know, I probably did like a little cheer. I was like, yay. And then went on about my day. But I think that's my proudest moment. Just releasing music for the first time and getting rid of anxiety of having to release music. So, yeah.
That's incredible. Like, honestly, like in terms of having that bravery to just be like, I want to put my work out there in the world and stuff, and seeing it actually being I guess appreciated as well. That's really cool.
It's the first step. Do you know what I mean? It's the first step, and I think once you get over that hill, it's fine. You can deal with it, you know. And I think that for me was the proudest moment, because I was like, finally, I can deal with anything now. So now I can release music. I'm like, whatever. I don't remember the release date.
No, that's really cool, and I think that's something that a lot of creatives can like relate to, in terms of we can be our own kind of like worst critic, and be like, it needs to be perfect. Where it's like, no, put it out there. Like, you never know what could happen.
100%. Even when I'm speaking to other artists and other people who, you know, you're constantly in the studio, you're constantly working on new music, but then when you're constantly creating, you don't have that feedback loop of people telling you what they think. And you then start creating thoughts yourself, and you're like, okay, people might not like this, they won't like that, they won't like that. And then you're just overthinking. And I'm a big I overthink all the time. And that's something that I've learned to let go, or I'm trying to let go, that overthinking. Even when it came to releasing Palo Santo, my latest single, the music video, the song, I'm like, people won't know it, people won't understand, they won't make sense of it, they won't understand the video, blah, 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 blah. Should I change it? Should I do this? no, stop, just release, be proud of your work. It's fine.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I definitely think everybody feels the same way.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of your latest single, like I must say that I really love it. Like I love that it's upbeat, and like as I kind of mentioned in the comments, like I feel like it's gonna be a summer banger. Like,
yeah,
it just gives that it gives that kind of vibe. Fingers crossed, honestly. And I kind of like the like Spanish influence, like with the title and stuff. And I'll say that it's quite kind of upbeat and a bit different from like your other projects that you've done before. So like, what was the creative like process behind writing the song, and also like the music video as well? Like, what was the kind of inspiration behind it as well?
So Palo Santo for me is so special because it was the first song that I did for the second project. So going into it, I knew from the first project, like you mentioned, Pilot is so chilled and laid back, and it just had a completely different perspective. Like I wrote it during lockdown and I was in my feels, and I thought, you know what, you've had that emotional side of me, now let's amp it up a little bit. Now let's throw it aside. So I wanted to make sure that for the second project that I showed a different side to myself, and people just got to know a new side of me. And when it came into working with Pierce McIntyre, so he was the co-writer and producer of the song, I was like, just give me something upbeat. I don't care, just something with a good pace. And he drew up the beat, and I kid you not, I just started writing, and I didn't know what I was saying at first, and then I remember I got to the chorus and I was like, okay, if you want a lover, you know what's good. And I sat there and I was like, what? And I wrote it. Funnily enough, I wrote the song a few days after my first single was released. So I already finished the first project. And it was a few days after I released I Like in March where I wrote Palo Santo. And obviously it was a few days after my birthday, and my friend bought me a crystal set because I was trying to be all spiritual and get the sage sticks and all that stuff. And my friend got me a whole crystal set. And I remember reading on one of the leaflet, it's like, you know, in order to cleanse your crystals, you need to use a Palo Santo. And I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden it came to my head when I was in the writing session, and then it went on from there. So I was really, it was like a light bulb moment, like ding, and now I knew what the song was about. So yeah, we got the song down in like 3 or 4 hours, like it wasn't long at all. And when it came to the music video, I worked with a guy called Alex Beer. He's the director, and he was also the photographer for my second project. And when myself and my manager played him the song, he had like this whole idea of like the 70s vibe, because you know, Palo Santo, it's all about positive energy and feeling good and embracing yourself and just having a good time. And we just wanted to reflect that. So we had like a really diverse cast, that everybody looks different and nobody just did the same thing. We all were different, represented a different group, and I felt like that was really refreshing, especially for an R&B track, and just to have fun, and with the fashion, and I loved the video. I loved making it. It was a great day, and I was really just nervous that certain things that we did wouldn't make sense. Like there was a horse head in the bathroom.
I was like, what's going on?
What's going on? And so, funnily enough, nobody's like called me out on it. Like, hey, like, why is there a horse head? But I feel like everyone gets it. Like, I don't know.
It's true.
Hey, so I liked how quirky it was, definitely. And I love the video.
Yeah, and it's definitely, as you said, like refreshing to see it within like the R&B kind of scene. Like having that 70s influence, and then like having a diverse kind of group of people in the music video. It's really cool. I'm surprised by like people's like reaction, and like in terms of liking the song, you know, you got recognition from I think BBC One Extra or one of them. So like, how did you feel about that?
It feels surreal because, again, I knew I had, you know, belief, and that Palo Santo was going to do well. But I have belief in all my songs. But nothing has done as well as Palo Santo, like you mentioned with the BBC Radio Extra, and then Capital Extra. Like having my first national radio play with Palo Santo, that was just an experience that I will never forget. Again, in my bedroom, I'm always in my room. Oh, I need to get out more. But again, hearing that for the first time, I'm like, wow, like, that's another milestone that I've achieved so early on in my career. And then just with everyone saying like, whoa, like this is a vibe. Like I get it. I love this song. I love this song. I'm so happy that people get it. And, you know, I didn't make it easy for myself, naming the song Palo Santo, like a whole Spanish title. People are like, am I pronouncing it correctly? I don't even speak Spanish, so I don't really know. So I didn't make it easy for myself, but I'm glad, like, you know, people get it and they're rocking with it. They love the upbeat R&B. I don't think we get that often. Upbeat R&B. It's quite moving. So yeah, I just thought I'll try something different.
That's really cool. And like speaking again of like the title of your new song, and I like that like, as you said with Palo Santo, like it's got that Spanish influence, and it's like usually talk about you know, positive energy and removing like bad energy. And I liked how you used the like Nigerian slang, like no wahala, in your single. So what are 3 ways that you try to stay away from like toxic or bad energy and like keep yourself grounded?
I love that question. 3 ways. Well, for me, I think I'm quite intuitive. I think, you know, you can spot bad energy a mile away. And, you know, I just think I have a small circle of friends. Like once I have a group of friends that I like and that we get along well with, that's it. We're friends for life. And I feel like I'm very closed in that way, but I'm not saying that I'm like anti getting to know people. Of course, I love getting to know people and then speaking to people. But in terms of letting people in, I'm very much, I'm cautious of you. What are you about? That's the one way, I guess. It's just being very cautious, and I'm always assessing people. When it comes to, I guess I have a 3-strike rule. I know it's really bad, but when, you know, I feel like mistakes can be made, but when people do something that I wouldn't do, for me, that's it. Like if somebody does something to me and I'm thinking I would never do that to you, or I would never do that to somebody, that's the first sign for me, and that's bad vibes. So you're out. And I'll mark your name. I'm like, I remember that. Or depending on the severity, do you know what I mean? And the last thing is I just keep myself to myself. That's I guess that kind of repeats the first thing, but I keep myself to myself, and I try not to be out there too much. It's a cold world, so I like to stay at home.
It really is, and I think it's important to like kind of know your boundaries and like have that discernment, because there is kind of like the good energy, bad energy, like it comes off with people's body language or just how they speak and stuff. Absolutely. So it's good that you're able to find a way to kind of like.
Now I wish I could change my answer. Absolutely, it's based on body language, discernment. There was another thing you said I completely forgot. Damn it! You should have answered it for me. Absolutely, 110%. It's all about discernment and just knowing whether people are just judging their vibes and their energy. 100%.
And what do you like to do outside of music? So I'm seeing like your homebody from like the conversation we're having. But yeah, what do you like to do outside of music that fans might not be aware of, or
what do I like to do? If I'm not doing music, I am going to the gym. Actually, is that a thing that I like to do? Is it something that I have to do? I don't know, but I'm there anyway. I'm at the gym. I keep saying I do yoga, but I'm very not good. I'm horrible, but I like to do yoga every now and again because, you know, I'm really not flexible at all, and I'm trying to gain some flexibility back into my body. Other than that, I watch TV quite often. You know, I have all the subscriptions: Netflix, Disney, Amazon, Stars. I have the lot. So I'm watching TV and just hanging out with friends and just playing video games. I have a PS5. I'm NBA 2K22 right now. I'm really rubbish. All of my hobbies I'm terrible at. And really sad. But those are the stuff that I like to do. Oh, and probably watching wrestling as well. I finally admit myself, I'm a huge WWE fan, and I'm watching some sort of pay-per-view, whether it's Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. I'm there. I'm watching it. Wow. So that's what I like
to that as well.
I know, and it got to an age where like, oh, stop watching it. It's not cool.
You know?
So I continued secretly, but now I'm like, I don't care. I'm
gonna watch it.
Tell the world, yes, I watch it. I don't care. Wrestling's not real. Neither is the film you're watching.
Exactly. It's all entertainment at the end of the day. So
there you go. It's all entertainment. I've been telling my friends that I'm gonna have myself a WrestleMania moment one day when I'm older and successful. I'm gonna have myself a wrestling match. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but one day. It's on my bucket list.
No, that's really cool. Like I'm glad that you're able to find other things to do, like outside of music. Obviously music is like your main priority and stuff, but you have other things that you like to do, which is really cool. And a fellow South Londoner, like you may be
from
aware.
South London as well? South London.
I'm like grew up South London as well. Like you may be aware of like the kind of South London slander that goes around and stuff, but how is it kind of growing up in like South London? I know you said you're based in Croydon. I was based in, I moved around a lot for many reasons, but it's always been in South London. I went to school in Southfields or like Wandsworth area, and at that time, like growing up, I lived in Mitcham. So it was always, I've really enjoyed it because I feel like for me, I say always enjoyed it. Who am I kidding? It's interesting because I feel like it's kind of having like the best of both worlds where, you know, you're exposed to so much. Like in school, you could have like the richest kids to the poorest kids, and we're just all in one classroom, just trying to learn and trying to get by life. And I feel like that there was a certain bond that us South Londoners have. I don't know whether any of the other have it, but we have that bond. When somebody says they're from South London, like, whenever you see anybody doing so successful from South London, like Stormzy or Dave or Streatham, you're like, yes, exactly.
So I just feel like we have that certain bond where we know like where we come from. We haven't had it the easiest. It's not easy, but there's a special something that from like being from South London, and we wear it with pride. Like I love it.
Really do. Really do. And like speaking of like the artists that you've spoken about, like is there any particular artists from South London that you really rate and that you may think like they deserve their flowers basically?
There's so many up and coming artists right now. I did a radio show for Amazing Radio a couple of weeks back. I'm gonna burp again. I need to stop. But I did a radio show with Amazing Radio, and I played a couple of artists that I was really enjoying. And there's one artist called Vinay. She's a singer-songwriter from South East London, and she's released a new track called Won't Hold You. And it's currently in like the radio at the same time as Palo Santo, which is how I've heard of it. And when I heard it, I was whoa, this song is amazing. And it's so underrated. I wish it had way more plays than it does now. I think she's absolutely incredible. I checked out her other stuff and she's got an amazing EP. And I'm like, what is happening? The world is like not even, they don't understand how good she is. And I know she's like a backing vocalist for other artists. So she's actually, I can't remember who she's performed with, maybe Stormzy as well. But, Mabel. I think she's performed with Mabel, if I'm, remember correctly. But she performed with so many people. And I think she's absolutely incredible. And I can't wait until, the world sees it and gives her flowers, because she's a really good writer and vocalist as well.
It's amazing again, like the talent that's coming out of like South London, both old and new, like
really, really incredible. I don't understand what's in the source of South London, but we're doing something right. It's all the trauma. We're good at writing, making good music.
And like another question I was going to ask is, like, with being an independent artist, I think it's like, again, really inspiring. It's really inspiring to hear that you're an independent artist, because I think of like artists such as like Little Sims and Chance the Rapper, and how they've been successful whilst being independent. But I guess it can also kind of be lonely at sometimes. And how has your own experience been in being an independent artist? Just let me know.
I think you're definitely right. It does feel lonely and challenging. And you always think, if I had like a big machine record label buy, maybe I'd skyrocket. I have 1 million views and streams and X amount of playlists. But I think being an independent artist for me has been the greatest lesson as an artist, because I understand the value of me, because I'm the decision maker. I'm the final decision maker. What I say goes, and I'm the one that has to really understand the money that I'm putting in. It's because of me, and it's because of my work, and it makes me appreciate more if down the line, if I were to get signed with a major deal or have whatever sort of opportunities that may come my way, I know how to deal with it because I've done it myself. And if I can't put money, how can I expect a company to do it? So for that, I think it's taught me a really valuable lesson in terms of how to budget and how to manage people around you to get what you want and when you want it. Because if you don't know how to do those fundamentals, you're going to struggle as an independent artist. And all that sort of management side of things is not easy for everybody. So of course, people may have managers or may need that additional support. But I think that has been a real key thing that I've learned as part of being an independent artist. But I would say it's been great because, like I said, I'm the decision maker. So when it comes to the singles, how I'm going to be presented, and picking I'm so pedantic. My manager, I know he absolutely hates me, but it may come down to the tiniest thing, that's not the right level, the color of black. I want it this black. Or no, change this word to this word. Or no, I don't like this. We're not posting it here. I don't want to post that. I'm so specific about what I want. And I feel like it'd be really challenging to let those things go. If I were to get signed. But I know at some point I'm going to have to let it go because I imagine myself growing and getting bigger. But right now I enjoy having all my hands everywhere and holding everything close.
I think that's really cool because I never kind of thought about it in that way, in terms of being an independent artist. You're kind of your own boss in a way. You get to make kind of decisions. This is what this is where I want to go to. This is when I want to release the music and X, Y, and Z. So I think it's inspiring again. And
definitely. I have to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you can continue.
I was gonna say, and definitely, you have to think of yourself as a label, and you have to think, okay, if this is the work that you're producing and you're playing it to yourself, and you're thinking, all right, do you want to put money in this? Because if you want to put money in this, then somebody else will put money into it. And that's how I would think about it now. It's a business.
Yeah, definitely. You have to be your own like cheerleader before anyone else. So
Really.
That's really cool. And definitely and like what do you think of the current like R&B and soul scene in the UK? Do you think it's still popular or not really? And do you have like a favorite artist? It could be old or new from the scene.
Yes, I think it's so interesting because I think R&B is doing really well. Like R&B in the UK is doing so well, and we don't even realize it. And you know, even like artists like Tiana Major 9 and LMA who have had so much success over in the States, but then you know, they're still from the UK. They're still London girls. But I feel like the reason why people may think that it's not as doing as well is because it's not having the same. It's not in the limelight. I feel like they changed the chart to Afrobeats or something. So now it's like the Afrobeats chart rather than R&B chart. Or I mean, I don't know. I might be completely wrong, but I feel like it's not being put in the limelight, especially in the industry. I know for the Brits Award that happened the other day or whatever, that had best pop and R&B act, but there weren't any R&B acts nominated, and it's like, okay, well, why? So I feel in that regards, I feel like, you know, there could be more radio plays, there could be more focus on or you know, the limelight on R&B in the UK, but you know, I feel like it will have its time. I think it's coming, but people can find it. Like there is an R&B UK Spotify playlist, and those are people who, if you listen to R&B, you will know who are the go-tos for R&B in the UK. And in terms of my favorite artist, I just talk about from the UK R&B wise.
It could be from the UK or from America or from anywhere.
There's so many, but I think from the UK, I feel like I'm probably going to get slandered, but I feel like Craig David, like Born to Die, was such an incredible R&B UK like album, pop. I think it was just a perfect balance of everything. Definitely. And I know it's really old, but to me, that's just like a perfect example of what R&B pop UK album would sound like. I think that was beautiful. I also think I'm really rubbish with genres, but I loved what Katie B on a Mission. I don't know if that would be considered R&B. I know that's a bit more dancey actually. Or I don't know. Is Back to Black considered R&B? I liked that too. Amy Winehouse, that album. That had a bit of an R&B flair, pop. I don't know. But more recently, I love, again, I think I've already spoken about it, but Tiana Major 9 and her EP, her latest EP, Back to Sixes and Sevens, I think it was called that. Incredible. But there's so many. Jazz Karis is doing incredible. Jack James, I love what he does. The Joyride song is amazing, and I just love that nostalgic feel that he has. It's amazing. So yeah, there's just so many, but I think in terms of an iconic R&B album and just an artist, I think Craig David does it for me. Yeah,
definitely. Like he is an iconic person, to be honest, especially in the UK. He has classics upon classics. Like I think it was maybe 2021, like New Year's, like when things were kind of open, like they played Craig Davis, I think going into the New Year's and stuff.
Didn't he perform at one of the New Year thing? I think it was like when lockdown was like really, really happening and we couldn't go out, and I think he did the whole New Year countdown and all that stuff. I watched it. I was in my house. Like,
I was watching it with my mum, and we're just like singing all the classics.
Wicked. So I think he is like the number one artist, I reckon, R&B wise.
Definitely. And I do hope that the UK like scene does like R&B scene kind of grows, because I think for me, kind of getting to know R&B, I guess it was kind of from like the American like perspective and stuff.
Me too.
But I think it's also nice to see UK artists like Tiana Nugent 9 and others that are making a big, and of course yourself as well. So yeah, it's really cool. The last question that I have is, what can fans expect from you this year? Are we seeing an album, an EP, a tour, up and coming shows or events, or collabs?
Well, what people can expect is, I'm definitely going to say an EP is coming very, 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 very soon. I'm just enjoying Palo Santo now. I'm letting that wave. I'm riding that wave. I'm enjoying that. The music video is out. Then we're hopefully going to release the EP at some point. I have a month in mind, but I haven't got an exact date yet. I have the tracks, but I haven't got the EP title, but I have everything pretty much. So EP, I'm still sorting out shows. I want to do a headline gig in London first, but I don't know why. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about doing my first headline gig. I'm just like, will anybody come? Like, what's gonna happen? So I'm waiting for just when it feels right for me to do my headline. But I have a date in mind. I just don't know if I'm gonna pull the trigger yet. Headline gig, EP, some other stuff. I have the year plan.
Yeah.
I have the year plan.
That's
but
good.
I don't want to reveal everything just yet. But definitely we'll have one EP this year.
Yes. Yes, that's really good to hear. I'm really excited for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you again for this wonderful interview. Like, it was really
I appreciate it.
Like, it was more than just an interview, it was like a whole conversation. And
it was a lovely chat.
Yeah, definitely, a lovely chat. So yeah, thank you once again for this opportunity. And I hope all the best in terms of like your music career and just like your whole like 2020 to be honest. Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It was a really good interview. I enjoyed it.